Well, hello, retro computing enthusiasts, electronics geeks. Mike here. Welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a long time. Been really busy. Been out of town a lot too. But what have I got for you today? Today I have a Xerox 820 motherboard here. Okay. So I found this on eBay. It was a deal. I bought it. I got it for like 25 bucks plus shipping. All right, and I thought that was a great deal. Why am I interested in an old Xerox 820 motherboard? Well, I had always heard that the 820 was based on the Ferguson big board, which back when I was young, back in the Stone Age, um, late high school, early college, Ferguson big board was the thing. Okay, it was very popular, and I wanted one in the worst way back then. But when I was in high school, I didn't have the money. When I was in college, while I was a starving student, I still didn't have very much money. The Ferguson Big Board was a kit. You could buy the circuit board for like 125 bucks or so, but you're going to have to spend another 700-800 bucks in parts to populate it. I figured I wasn't going to have the money. I wasn't going to have the time. So my dream of ever having a Ferguson Big Board kind of went by the wayside. By the time I did have the money and the time, well, PC was the thing, and my first real computer was a PC. I mean, I had a few, junky old computers before that, but I never had a Ferguson big board. I never had an all-in-one computer, and I really wanted one in a bad way. So, what was so great about the Ferguson big board that I wanted one? Well, it was kind of the first all-in-one computer. Up until this time, if you bought a computer, bought a box that you had to put a bunch of cards in, especially if it was a Z80 based computer. You'd have a processor card, a memory card, or several memory cards, an I/O card, and a floppy drive controller card, and maybe some other cards in there too if you wanted some really nice bells and whistles added to it. The Ferguson board had all that built in. It had a Z80 processor, it had 64K of RAM, it had serial port, it had parallel port, it had floppy drive controller, had video controller. It was all built in, all in one board. You didn't need anything else. You just had to populate the board, hook up either a keyboard and a monitor or a dumb terminal to it, and you're computing, and you can add other things later. You can add floppy drives, you can add whatnot. So Ferguson big board, I really wanted one bad, but never actually got the chance to get one. Now that I'm older and I've got some disposable income and a little bit of time, I thought, well, let me look around for Ferguson big boards. Oh my God, what do they go for these days? Between $750 and $1,000 on eBay, if you can find them. So I'm like, yeah, maybe I don't want to spend that much of my disposable income on one. But, I'd always heard that the Xerox 720 board was based on the Ferguson big board. I did a little research, and sure enough, Xerox used the design of the Ferguson big board in their 820. It saved them a ton of time and development costs to get an all-in-one computer on the market quickly back in the day. And just like the Ferguson big board, it's got everything you need. It's got the Z80 processor. It's got serial I/O. It's got parallel I/O. It's got floppy drive controllers. It's got 64K of RAM. It's got video on board. It's based exactly on the design of the Ferguson big board. They made a few changes, but this will run all the Ferguson software. The tons of it that's out there. This will run CPM for the Ferguson. So, it's like, oh, it's like having a Ferguson big board. And at a fraction of the price. Like I said, I got this for 25 bucks. So I'm pretty happy with this acquisition. Now let's have a quick look at it here. Get a good focus on it. Yeah, so we've got a serial communication port over here, printer port over here, parallel printer port, keyboard input port over here, and floppy drive port over here. Video comes out on this connector here. It's a little different than the Ferguson. The Ferguson had complete composite video output that you could feed right into a composite monitor. This thing splits out the sync and the video, but you know what? I can use the circuit from the Ferguson to combine them and get composite video output I can send into a monitor without any trouble. So I will probably build that circuit to do that. So I've got to figure out a few things. I got to figure out how to get power into it. I'm having trouble finding this connector or an original 820 power supply, which would be nice for this. Gonna have to, like I said, figure out the video combining circuit. I don't even know if this board works. Okay, there was no guarantee from the seller that this board works, so it might need some troubleshooting. Figure out, if all the RAM's good, processor. A few of the chips are socketed, but if they aren't, well, it's going to take some desoldering to replace any bad chips or other components. It looks to be in pretty good shape, though. It looks like it's been really well kept. I mean, it's not even dusty, okay? So I think it's a pretty good find. It may be one of the old surplus 820 motherboards. Apparently back in the mid-'80s, I guess, Xerox sold off a lot of their surplus 820 motherboards for cheap, and people snapped them up to build systems, Z80 systems. This might be one of the old surplus motherboards. I don't know. I can't really tell, but it does not look like it has seen a lot of use, if any. It looks like it the day it rolled out of the factory, pretty much. So hopefully, it's just gonna work. So I'm gonna work on powering it up. If I can't find the correct connector, I can always just solder directly onto the pads here. It's pretty standard. The voltages it uses plus and minus 12 volts, plus 5 volts. The standard stuff. Power it with a PC power supply without any trouble. Maybe I can find an actual 820 power supply. That would be nice. Of course, all the ones I've seen pictures of have REFA caps on them, so I'll have to replace those. Otherwise, they'll let the magic smoke out eventually. But yeah, I think this is a pretty nice find. And of course, this board is, not only is the Ferguson board really well documented, this board is super well documented too. You can find the manuals for this board online. You'll get everything: schematics, service, troubleshooting, pinouts of all the ports, everything. It's all online, all available. So I've already started downloading that stuff for future reference when I get to working on this board. So, whoa, I'm pretty happy that I finally got not a real Ferguson, but a board based on the Ferguson that's really a work-alike, and under the hood, it's really kind of the same design. So I'm really, really stoked to have this and can't wait to start playing around with it. I think I can even download boot discs or buy them from various places for this. So I just have to hook floppy drives up to it and poof, boot right up. So we'll see how that goes. Watch for future videos. This will probably appear in some future videos of mine. So, subscribe to see those videos. And leave a comment if you ever had a Ferguson board or really wanted one, or if you have the experience with the 820. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Leave any advice, helpful hints. I'd really appreciate it. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Give it a like. And I'll see you in the next video. Thanks a lot for watching this one. Bye.